The unelected governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, is doing everything in her power to disarm law-abiding citizens. It really makes no sense until you start thinking like a tyrant. Disarming those who follow the law equals total control. It's simple. Rather than focus on the overwhelming number of shootings and killings due to black-on-black gang-related crimes, Kathy Hochul doesn't want to be racist, so instead she's targeting Civil War reenactors. A new gun law just passed in New York, which spits in the face of the recent Supreme Court ruling, makes participation in a Civil War reenactment a felony. The Angelica Civil War Reenactment Group posted this update to Facebook. Quote, possession of a firearm in public is now a felony. After obtaining a legal opinion, it was determined that we could not continue with holding the event this year. Participants could be subject to arrest, so the event is canceled. And Governor Hochul's quest to outlaw guns for everyone except career criminals doesn't stop there. She's also targeting volunteer firefighters. The West Potsdam Fire Department now has to cancel their annual gun show this year because of Hochul's outrageous gun law power grab. New York Congresswoman and House GOP Chairwoman Elise Stefanik responded to the gun show cancellation, writing in part, quote, Kathy Hochul should be ashamed for forcing the cancellation of the West Potsdam Volunteer Fire Department gun show and attacking our constitutional rights. Far-left Democrats will stop at nothing to fuel their unconstitutional gun-grabbing agenda, even attacking our upstate values, culture, and sources of revenue for hardworking families. And the Congresswoman is exactly right. Volunteer firefighters will be felons if they have a gun show, but a gang member can shoot someone in the middle of Times Square and be let out of jail the next day. Does this sound like a state that you want to live in? If you're a common sense thinking individual, the answer is probably not, but that's the point. This is Kathy Hochul's endgame. And what does New York City's mayor think of all this? Well, he's busy dancing in Times Square and most likely getting fitted for some new peacoats. You know, it's time for winter clothes, and everyone knows that Mayor Eric Adams is too busy focusing on his swag rather than tackling violent crime in his city. It's all so outrageous, folks. The leaders in New York, they would use the Constitution as a doormat if they could. They don't care about American citizens' rights. They only care about power. And that's just about the only thing that makes sense in New York anymore. Joining me now is Republican Congresswoman from New York and House GOP Chairwoman Elise Stefanik. Congresswoman, welcome to the program. So glad to have you here tonight.
Good to be with you.
What do you make of Governor Hochul's new unconstitutional gun law? She's targeting law-abiding gun owners while turning a blind eye to the violent criminals that we're seeing not just in New York City, but also in a number of cities in upstate New York.
Well, this is what we see from virtually every Democrat elected official in America, but particularly in New York. They have shredded the Constitution to try to achieve and pursue their gun-grabbing agenda, and it's unconstitutional on its face. Remember, this law was rushed through in the dark of night as a response to the Supreme Court ruling the unconstitutional concealed carry process in New York State. The Supreme Court ruled correctly that it was unconstitutional. And what did New York Democrats do? They doubled down and put an even worse law in place, essentially categorizing law-abiding gun owners in my district in parks. So the Adirondack Park, they categorize them as felons. You pointed out the cancellation of a Civil War reenactment. In my district, we have historical reenactments for the Revolutionary War, for the War of 1812, all the time. It's an important part of our values. It's an important aspect of our history. It's an important part of our local economy. And we've seen update after update that the negative consequences of this law are that those events can no longer happen. We love our historical reenactors. It's not partisan. It's about teaching the next generation history. And you're right. This is an attempt for Democrats to distract from their crime crisis. Crime is skyrocketing across New York State and across America because they're prioritizing going after hardworking, innocent, law-abiding citizens rather than tough on crime going after the criminals themselves.
Yeah, and it's so true. And I really feel for the Civil War reenactment group. I mean, is there any chance that it, you know, or the fire department's gun show, is there any chance that that can resume, or would the law have to change? I mean, it's really unbelievable to me that these people would be considered felons.
Well, the law has to change. The law should be fully repealed. We will challenge this law in court, much like we did the concealed carry unconstitutional overreach in New York State. I signed the amicus brief. I will do so again and help lead that effort to challenge the constitutionality of this law in that it is unconstitutional. And we will stand by and stand side by side those historic reenactors. I mean, these are local leaders. These are fire departments. These are people who are involved in local community organizations who have done these for years. I grew up going to historical reenactments of Revolutionary War battles, and it is a shame that now our next generation of young people and our citizens aren't getting exposed to this. So we will challenge this in court, and then we also need to make sure that voters turn out this November so that we have a big red wave to fire Kathy Hochul and the Albany Democrats, as well as Joe Biden once and for all.
Well, I have to say, I think there's a really good chance of that in New York State. I think a lot of people are going to come out in the midterms. And I think a lot of people are angry right now as a result of the rhetoric we're hearing, not only from Governor Hochul, but from the Biden administration. You've seen Joe Biden consistently calling to ban all assault weapons. Of course, he's been attacking MAGA Republicans. Do you think that this is having an influence on radical governors like Kathy Hochul?
I do. I think it starts at the top, and it starts with Joe Biden, and he has demonized tens of millions of Americans. He's certainly demonized my constituents, and it's just frankly wrong. This was a president who, on his inauguration, said he would bring the country together, and yet on day one, he has done everything and anything to further divide this country. I'm proud that when I'm on the ballot, I earn support not only from Republicans and conservatives, but independents and Democrats as well. The fact that Joe Biden is demonizing and going so far to the left, whether it's his gun control, his gun grabbing agenda, or whether it's the largest tax increase, the largest spending bill in our nation's history, Kathy Hochul is also running as far to the left. And when I say in November, while Joe Biden, the presidential, is not on the ballot, this is a referendum on how Joe Biden has failed, how Kathy Hochul has failed, and how their Democrat majorities, whether they're in the House or in Albany, have absolutely failed New Yorkers and the American people.
Yeah, the American people are fed up. And, you know, we hear this administration, the vice president saying our border is secure. Karine Jean-Pierre saying people just don't walk across the border. The American people know otherwise. And they know otherwise when it comes to the most important issue in a lot of their minds right now. And that's the economy. It's inflation. And you got Biden today celebrating the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. I call it the Inflation Enhancement Act. But now we're seeing consumer price index numbers. They're out for the month of August. They're not good. Inflation rose more than expected. We're seeing 8.3%. I mean, how big of a concern should this be for Democrats heading into November?
It, of course, is a concern for the American people, and the Democrats are doing everything they can to try to change the subject. But I will tell you, in district and district across America, no matter where you look, the Midwest, the East Coast, the West Coast, inflation is the #1 concern of voters, because this is the highest rate of inflation that we've seen in 40 years. That's longer than my lifetime. As people are heading back to school, they're spending more for school supplies. Every week or every 2 weeks when they go to the grocery store, they continue to see those prices climb. This is a result, and people are smart. They understand this is a result of the reckless spending policies that we've seen both in Washington from one-party Democrat rule, but also in the state of New York and Albany with Democrat rule. So voters are going to vote for their economic issues, I believe, this November, which is one of the reasons why we have to have a red wave. We're going to have a red wave to save this country, save the economy, and save America.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik of the great state of New York, we thank you for all the great work that you do. And thanks for joining us on Prime News tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. September is historically the worst performing month for the stock market, so you better be ready for it. The Fed continues to aggressively raise rates, and JP Morgan is forecasting another mega rate hike September the 21st. Is that why Jamie Dimon said an economic hurricane is coming our way? Well, gold and silver have remained remarkably stable despite the Fed aggressively raising rates today. The Patriot Gold Group has a special incentive for Newsmax viewers. Huge! Now precious metals investors can enjoy the no-fee for life gold and silver IRA on qualifying rollovers, or enjoy free, discreet, insured shipping on all direct gold and silver purchases. Here's the number, 800-356-4470. Call 800-356-4470 today.